How do you know if you're with the right person? And there's these 10 questions that I thought actually are great to ask yourself. Thank you so much for tuning into Second Act TV. So happy to have Jonathan Noble back, the divorce attorney, family law attorney, YouTuber extraordinaire. Jonathan, thank you so much for being here again.
Happy to be here, Silka. Thanks for having me. My pleasure. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, well, our viewers love you or not so much. Jonathan has great opinions when it comes to relationships, dating, marriage, divorce, and some of which you may agree with, some of which you don't. And if you don't, you're really not going to like Jonathan.
But he doesn't care.
But he doesn't care. Jonathan, I have an interesting discussion before us today. I want your opinion on, there's lots of considerations of getting married again at our age. How do you know if you're with the right person? And there's these 10 questions that I thought actually are great to ask yourself. And then, before we started talking, you said, yeah, I disagree with them. So I'm going to really look forward to this because I thought they were great. So I can't wait to hear your input. The first one is, does this person make me happy 97% of the time?
I don't know if these questions are in order. All right. So let's say we talked, the eighth question in my mind is number one. If the answer is no to the eighth question, game over. And the eighth question is, do I trust him or her? If there's no trust, there's no relationship. Mm-hmm. It's that simple. If you can't bring your authentic self to the relationship, it's not going anywhere. It certainly should not go down the aisle. So trust is the foundation of you got to be in a safe space with your partner. Any thoughts on that?
I agree with you, and I don't think they're necessarily in order of importance, but I'll do it. Let's do that as number one. Do I trust this person? Because it's not just about infidelity, whether they'll screw around on you or that sort of thing, but also do I trust this person to take care of me? Do I trust him to do right by me? And right. Or whatever.
The best relationships I've seen is where you're cheerleaders for each other. Mm-hmm. You have each other's back. You love each other. You understand when the other person needs to be alone a little bit. You just find joy in their successes. That's the relationship you want. So, and if they have a problem, they can come to you and vice versa. And that's part of the trust equation for me.
Yeah. Well, let's get back to the one that's here's number one. Does this person make me happy 97% of the time?
Hey, here's a news flash for everybody. Happiness is an inside job. Okay. If you expect someone else to make you happy, you are going to crash and burn. All right. One of the best books I've seen out there is Lies at the Altar. Okay. You don't even have to open the book. It says Lies at the Altar. And in the back, top 10 lies. All right. You don't even have to open the book. Marriage is an automatic ticket to self-esteem. That's the top, one of the top lies. So going along with happiness, what if they make you happy 96% of the time? If you're a miserable human being, you're not going to be happy. If you rely on someone else to make you happy, don't get married. You're going to just show up in my office one day, and I'd rather have you live a happy life. Go buy a boat or take a trip around the world. Don't get married if you rely on someone else to make you happy.
I agree with you 100%. And you know what? Why? It's because I didn't take the question like that. To me, that's obvious. They should have said, do I feel happy with person, or how do I feel with this person? Not do they make me happy, but am I happy with this person? Because I think, because when I saw that, I thought, 97%, and 97 is arbitrary, obviously, but most of the time, do I really feel good with that person? And I can say, absolutely, I can say yes to that. That's why I thought it was a great question. But you pointed out such an important issue, if you will, is that nobody can make you happy, and we do forget about that. Does he or she respect me, and vice versa?
Yeah, respect is one of the cornerstones of a great relationship too. And nothing makes me cringe more than to see a couple out in public where they're fighting in an unrespectful
Oh,
way or fighting at all. It
yeah.
is such a turnoff. And I think to myself, go do the work and then go back out in public together. This is just unacceptable.
Yeah.
So respect is really important. Mutual respect and admiration. It fits right in to the equation. Without that, your relationship's going to crumble. Your marriage won't last.
No, I agree. I think that you can't love somebody you don't respect. You can't even like them. I mean, yeah, respect absolutely is. So, yeah, ask yourself that question. Do we have fun together? I think that's a great question. Do we have fun together?
I would have to say that is a great question. If you're not having fun with your spouse,
Mm-hmm.
who are you having fun with? That's one of the great reasons to be in a relationship. You
Mm-hmm.
don't need to be married to have fun with your
Right.
partner. Go on adventures and take trips and do the things that bring you joy. Number one thing I want you to think about with that question is don't be transactional.
Mm-hmm.
If one says I'll go and play golf or go fishing with you, but you have to come to the farmers market with me or go shopping or something, don't do that. It's not healthy. It never
Mm-hmm.
ends well.
And yeah, I think fun is absolutely important. So do ask yourself that, because some people, when you actually ask yourself that, you realize you don't, or you do.
Nobody wants to be with a wet blanket.
Yeah.
And I've unfortunately had situations where I've been with people in a short-term situation and they're not fun to be with. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be with them and I'm not with them.
Right.
So,
Right.
and people who are fun, I love to be with.
Yeah, exactly. Is this relationship easy? I think that's a great question too. Is this easy? I wouldn't have thought to ask myself that, but I think it's a really good question. Is it easy to be with this person?
I think if you both have genuine burning desire for each other, it's
Mm-hmm.
easy. All the little things that could create a microaggression fall by the wayside. It's all
Mm-hmm.
about, man, I want to be with them and they want to be with me. And that vibe just creates a great situation. Being together is easy. You miss
Mm-hmm.
them. You want to spend time with them. So hopefully if you're over 50 and you're contemplating getting married, if it's more work to be with
Yeah.
this person than it is easy, I want you to think twice about
Yeah.
committing to somebody like that. It's
Yeah.
not, life is too short to
Mm-hmm.
have that kind of work on top
Yeah.
of all the other pressures you have. So it
Yeah.
really should be easy.
Yeah. To me, that also said, yeah, there's no drama. You can just you're relaxed in each other's presence. You're not, constantly walking on eggshells and that sort of thing, which a lot of people do. Here's another one. Do I adore him or her? Adore. What does that mean? How do you interpret that?
You got to watch. There's a fine line between limerence, that high that you get when you meet somebody new that you really like. Not everything that your spouse or significant other does is going to be adorable,
Mm-hmm.
but and you don't want to put the other person on a pedestal
Pedestal.
either.
Mm-hmm.
This adulation. I think the word respect is better. That you respect each other. You don't necessarily have to adore each other all the time. Hopefully you love each other if you're in a committed monogamous relationship or a
Yeah.
marriage. So
Yeah, good point. I like this one too here. Do I like myself when I'm with him or her? Do I like myself? I think that's a terrific question. It relates to me because I didn't like myself when I was with my ex-husband. And I never thought about that. Go ahead.
right. So there's a cue to maybe go do the work
Mm-hmm.
before you continue to progress in any sort of relationship or even
Mm-hmm.
dating. If you don't like yourself, you're not putting your best self out there.
Mm-hmm.
You need to break up with dating, okay? And break up with the thought of being in a committed monogamous relationship because you're not as healthy as you really need to be. So once you go and do the work, it could be one of the great coaches you have on the show who will be honest and in your face
Mm-hmm.
about what you need to do to get yourself in that position. Great. I think there's no shame in that. Actually, it's a good idea.
Yeah, no, I agree. Do I trust him or her? It's kind of an obvious question, but maybe we don't ask ourselves that enough because maybe we don't really want to answer it.
Yeah, I think people need to trust themselves as
Hmm.
well. So
Yes.
hopefully, if you're dating someone or you're with someone and they leave the room every time the phone rings and go into the closet to talk to whoever they're talking to, that's an issue. Or
Hmm.
if you have any reason to think that they aren't who they say they are, they're
Hmm.
like still married and they're not
Yeah.
divorced, or ask a lot of questions you have every right to ask. Trust is critical. Without that, it's not going anywhere healthy.
Right, exactly. And we have lots of videos on that: red flags, yellow flags, just things that are indicators that there are trust issues. And then to me too, somebody that comes out of a relationship where there was infidelity, that whole trust piece is so difficult to manage. Even because sometimes you're the one that brings that to the table, and again have to work on yourself so you don't blame someone else for somebody else's mistakes that somebody else did to you. So in that sense, trust
Right.
can work in different ways, and it is extremely important.
Yeah, one thing that I hate to see through the lens of a divorce lawyer, but I see it all the time, is the marriage is broken, but they're
Hmm.
living separate and apart under the same roof, just so the kids get through high
Yeah.
school or whatever, for whatever reason they have.
Hmm.
And one is unfaithful.
Hmm.
You're a human being and you want to be held and you want to have intimacy with another person that you're
Hmm.
attracted to. And then the other person does it because they found out that the person who they haven't yet divorced did it. It's a mess. Now, if we're talking about getting remarried after 50, hopefully those issues are long in your rearview mirror, you
Right.
know, and don't date somebody that you're lukewarm about. All right. Either genuine burning desire, yes, even at an advanced age, or keep looking for that. I know
Hmm.
it's hard, but they could have all the other attributes you're looking for, but you want somebody that you're compatible with in
Yes.
intimacy and that great
Yes.
connection.
Yeah, no, totally agree. Would you take care of him or her in sickness and vice versa?
Right. Now, there's a lot of people in our demographic who are in great health,
Hmm.
but sometimes it's up to God. And there's others that are in horrific health. So if that's a concern, you'd want to get a health history or background. A lot of people in our demographic also have home health care insurance, where
Hmm.
God
I
forbid
do.
they become incapacitated, and they
Hmm.
have somebody come and take
Right.
care of them, give them a bath, that sort of thing. But you don't have to be married to be committed to somebody to want to take care of them in sickness and in health. It's just part of the dynamic.
Brought up a good point. But the thought, if you ask yourself, would I? And then immediately, oh God, no, I wouldn't want to be. Or he goes, well, of course I would. Which came to me when I thought about that. Well, of course I would. I would do whatever I could. Then that's a good indication that yeah, you're with the right person, at least for you.
Right.
uh,
I mean,
do I want to along the same lines? Do I want to grow old with him or her? Yes, I do.
that's part of love. You're
Yeah.
with someone and you are growing older every
Hmm.
day and
Right.
learning about them every day. And if you love someone, you want to grow old with them. In a lot of people's eyes, we're already old, but the fact of the matter is that we're going to get older. People are living
Hmm.
longer.
Yeah.
And if they have a good disposition and they're a giver
Hmm.
and they have a generous spirit and
Exactly.
they're a good listener, their actions speak louder than words, and you feel loved
Yeah.
and you can receive their love, why
Yeah.
would you want to not grow old with them?
Right.
I want to make a couple quick points, if I could, that aren't on the list that I see through
Sure.
my lens as a divorce lawyer that I want the audience to think about as they're out there, especially if they're considering getting married. You don't have to get remarried to find
Hmm.
another love in your life.
Right.
There's a huge percentage of people that don't get remarried for the lot of reasons that we talked about.
Hmm.
So you could find companionship.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me too. I mean, I'm in a great relationship and it's not absolutely necessary.
No.
So don't rush. That's like my overarching, you know what? If it's meant to be, you could still be together and take care of each other
Yeah.
without bringing in state law. That doesn't mean that you can't find someone and love them and and they love you, and marriage somehow makes sense. So not one answer fits all, but generally speaking, through my lens, you'd have to convince me why marriage is necessary.
Well, I totally agree. I was starting to come to the end of the segment, and I've saved what I thought is the most important question for last, because I reference this myself when people ask me what makes for a healthy, happy relationship. And that's, do I like him or her? Not love. Love can be relatively easy, but do I really like him? I think that is an overarching truth about where that relationship is going to go. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, I agree. I could not be with someone who I didn't genuinely like spending time with them, like who they are at their core. That's critical. So you're right. Love is separate from like. You got to like who this person is, how they treat you, how they treat others, how they treat the relationship. It all comes into play. It's really important. And I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, well, thanks. Well, Jonathan, again, something we can talk about forever. Anything else you want to add here before we sign off?
Yeah, if you're watching this, like, comment for the algorithm. Even a negative comment is okay. And subscribe. Silka should be up over 100,000 subscribers. I'm waiting for that YouTube plaque to show up for Second Act TV. So share this with everybody you know, too.
Thank you.
Subscribe.
Well, Jonathan, you're like my biggest cheerleader. I appreciate that. I'll link to your YouTube channel as well. And I so look forward to another conversation soon on Second Act TV.
Thank you, Silka.